All right. Yeah, let's just dive right in. Waste no time here. Good morning, everyone. I'm Matt Olin. I'm co-founder of Charlotte is Creative, and I'm part of the Charlotte Shout collaborative team. First off, please do keep yourself muted so that we can minimize any background noise and really, clearly hear whoever is speaking at any given time this morning. So just keep yourself on mute if you don't mind. Folks, as you know, after a year on hiatus due to the pandemic, Charlotte Shout's coming back. Charlotte Center City Partners and Blumenthal Performing Arts announced it recently. It's running September 17th through October 3rd, 17 amazing days of celebrating Charlotte's creativity and innovation all around Uptown. And this morning, we're holding this information session focused really exclusively on the music portion of Shout. Shout is going to feature new and innovative live music experiences from local artists, that's you, across multiple genres. We want both emerging and established artists. We want producers, promoters, venue operators to present your ideas that focus on artists and audience development and really showcase music as a central offering for the Shout audiences. There are going to be several stages that are going to be programmed throughout Shout the entire time, with solo artists and full bands performing tons of different types of music. And we'll get into tackling your questions around the specifics around this. A lot of the details are in that invitation to creative participation deck, the ICP, that's on the Shout website. So we can point you to that if you haven't seen it yet. This session is intended to get your questions answered so that you'll have no trouble getting your application in on time by the May 15th deadline. With that, I do want to introduce you to our Shout Sherpas this morning. First up, he did join Charlotte Center City Partners back in 2001 as the Chief Creative Officer and Senior Vice President of Events. He established the first Charlotte Shout years ago. I was lucky enough to play in it as a musician way back in the day. And so I give to you the wonderful wizard of Queen City events, Robert Crumbine. Good morning, Robert.
Good morning. Good morning, all. Thank you all for being here. It's a lovely day.
Certainly is. Next up, he's the senior, is Rick here? I want to make sure Rick Thurman's here today.
He is.
Okay, awesome, good. I didn't see him, but he is the Senior Vice President of Community and Economic Development for Charlotte Center City Partners. Prior to that, 21 years with Charlotte Magazine as editor and publisher. He's also one of the leaders of the Music Everywhere initiative, as you know. That's right, we have Rick Thurman here with us this morning. Good morning, Rick.
Morning, Matt. Morning, everyone.
We also have Emmy Award-winning poet and author Boris Blues Rogers. Blues is in the house. He recently joined the team over there at Blumenthal Performing Arts as their first ever Director of Creative Engagement. And he's going to be with us this morning to help you guys get ready for Shout. So thanks for being here, Blues. And we also, of course, have Tom Gabbard, the CEO of Blumenthal Performing Arts. He's been there since 2003. He's going to want me to mute my mic if I start gushing that he's a Tony voter, a Broadway League board member, co-chair of the Jimmy Awards, on and on. So I won't do it. I'll just say it's great to have you with us, Tom.
Great to be here.
Cool. Now, folks, drop your questions in the chat. That's going to be the easiest way for us to field your questions. So as they occur to you, or if you have them at the ready, go ahead and start dropping them in the chat and we'll start to field them. While you're doing that, Robert, Rick, Blues, Tom, is there anything you want to say or cover before we dive into fielding questions?
I'm happy to start off and just say that, first of all, we're thrilled to be able to be in the planning process for this event. And man, the news yesterday was really good news out of Raleigh. So we're starting to feel even better about the idea that this is going to happen in the way that we'd like it to happen. Get your vaccine. But we're excited to be offering this opportunity for our music industry and working. We've been working so hard on our Music Everywhere program. I'll let Rick talk a little bit about it, but this is a great opportunity for all of you to shape what this festival is going to look like. We do not have anything completely written in stone. This is not a situation where we're just going to dole out a bunch of things and say this is what a festival should look like. This is what this event should look like. This is Charlotte Shout. This is made in Charlotte component, and we want you all to make this a great festival. So. As you're sitting there thinking about questions and thinking about participating, consider that you are all part of this grand committee shaping what this festival can be. So, and thank you again for all being here this morning.
Yeah, I just want to say hello to a lot of familiar faces. Nathan, we finally got you added to the website just in time for you to put your arm in a sling, it looks like. Hope you can recover quickly. But yeah, we'll kind of leave it to the discussion, but really glad for the role that I think Shout can play in continuing to connect Charlotte audiences with Charlotte talent, which has been certainly one of the core missions of Music Everywhere, and never more so than this year. I think when that has been some of the only real entertainment available to Charlotte has been musicians playing outdoors, playing non-traditional spaces, and then even moving through the rest of the year as venues do start to reopen. Really hoping to see a lot of local talent on stages and helping our Charlotte audiences get to know and appreciate the Charlotte talent that's here, and then really follow you guys throughout your careers here.
And I just want to say, as music communities go, it can get very competitive in terms of who gets a gig where, but that's not what this is about. We're encouraging everyone to kind of put in their application, their bid or whatever. But also, if you're looking around this room and see people who are not here that should be here, remind them of what's going on and that this event is happening, because the last thing that we want, and we've all discussed, is for folks to show up and say, I didn't know about it. Like, that's the one thing we're trying to eliminate is the we didn't know about it excuse. We really want as many diverse musical acts as we can get into and onto our stage. So if there's some oddball act out there that you love, that you personally love, tell them to go and go ahead and apply for this, and let's try to get them in. Charlotte is just teeming and pouring over with so much musical talent that we'd be remiss if we didn't get as many folks in here as we possibly could. So if you're tapped into a music community that you do not see here, reach out to them and tell them to please apply.
Yeah, thanks for saying that, Blues. We really, to your point, we want you all to be a part of spreading the word, right, to other musicians, to the entire sector. Encourage people to apply. Don't hold back. The more people that apply, the more people we can get involved, the more diverse and vibrant the end result is going to be. So thank you for saying that. There is also going to be another one of these information sessions specifically focused on music on Thursday, May 13th at 11 a.m. So if for some reason, you're with us today, but your question occurs to you later, and of course you can submit it to us between now and then, but you can also join us on May 13th back here on the Zoom to get some questions answered.
Matt, can I say in reference to the themes here, the 4 programmatic pillars, and today we're focusing on music. We have had questions from people who can't quite figure out where they land, and we always tell them, don't worry about it. We have these distinct programming pillars to help us with marketing and communications, but many projects will cross genre. And so don't worry about, fitting in a particular peg here. And if it crosses genre, even better. Just fill out the form. Give us your best ideas. That's what matters most.
Thank you, Tom. Absolutely. If you send it down the wrong channel, don't worry. It's not going to get kicked out into outer space. We're going to find the right place for it to land. Absolutely. Couple questions coming in so far. Jeremiah asks, primarily his question is, what kind of references are you looking for? As a metal band, they don't exactly have job references out there. Sort of surprised. I would think like thrashing would be under special skills on the resume or something. But Robert or anyone want to talk about references?
Jeremiah, that's just, we just want to get to know who you are a little bit. And I'm sure there's somebody out there that's going to say Jeremiah is the greatest guy and their band is fantastic. I mean, it's probably one of the most common pieces to put in an application just to give us a sense. Understand that what the process we're doing here, there's a lot of little pieces here. It's about getting you guys to think through how to apply for something, make sure you pull some of this stuff together. I guarantee you've got a friend or a colleague or somebody out there that could put together a short reference about you and or the band.
And I think this is a good point too. If there's a venue that you've played that you've been playing for a while, this is also a chance to reconnect with those venue owners in terms of reference of, you know, if they've worked with you before. Like Robert's saying, it's those folks who can say a good word for you and you know, kind of put that out. And I don't think it necessarily has to be a venue that's been here in Charlotte. If you've played somewhere else, you know, use that as well. Connecting those communities through musicians and venues as well. So use those things as points of work reference.
Shauna and Nathan, thank you for spreading the word. I see you dropped that in the chat there. So thank you for that. Will asks if there's any flexibility with the 40-minute time limit for the showcase stages that's mentioned in the ICP.
You know, that'll end up being a factor based on how many applications we get, how many performers we have to work with, as we start to figure out how many stages we need and so on. The 40-minute was to give us sort of a standard set time and give some time for some audience development and let the people learn a little bit about the performers. As we said in the ICP, there will be a host for every stage. There'll be an opportunity to do a little Q&A, talk a little bit about the performer, the band, however, whatever we're looking at here. And so, I mean, if you're talking about less time, obviously that's certainly a factor. If we're going to start getting, I think we need to keep within that hour is what we're trying to accomplish here. I hope that makes sense.
Hey, Robert, Matt, can I put something in the room on that point? So, Will, I know you were at WDAV, and Robert, I'm wondering if you want to talk about this sort of third-party piece as well as a sort of separate element of this.
Sure. Well, let's just clarify the way we have this set up for the music piece of it. And again, I'm going to reiterate what Tom said. There's other places that music could fit in. I mean, if you read through the entire invitation, you'll see that there are some opportunities to collaborate on other forms, other pillars, other things. I mean, food and music, light art and music, murals and music. I mean, there could be a variety of things, but in this area specifically, we have two things. One is the showcase stages, which is fairly defined, right? We're going to have stages. We're going to try to do them genre specific if we can. It just will, again, depend on what we receive. And then we have this third party opportunity, which what we really we're trying to do there is create an opportunity for all of your ideas. If you see an opportunity to present a particular genre and you want to do it in a 3-hour format, and you've got this idea of how you can do it, then present that to us. And if you read that through, you'll see that there are 3 funding models in there, right? There's a fully funded, there's a partially funded, and there's you've got it all figured out, and you just need a place to do it, and you want to do it as part of Shout. That's and for that, the sky's the limit, right? We can work with you on timing and placement, and there's a lot of things that go on to that.
Matt, if I can add to this, because
Yes,
there's
please.
another question here about time for changeover. I do think as part of this festival environment, we're really trying to create a place where the public can graze and take in a lot of stuff in a particular day. We want people to come and spend the day and just walk around. Everything's going to be, within 30 minutes walk max. So this is a pedestrian friendly experience. So that means that the performing arts shows in particular, we need to be able to turn these things over relatively quickly. This is not the time to do, a technically complicated performance or, to have a full evening. There are other times to do that. Within Shout, we want to really encourage people to be kind of cultural grazers and to drop in, see an act for a while, it changes over to something else. And so, so as you begin to envision this, understand it in that context where we really are trying to change over things quickly, so the public has boom, 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 lots of different options. So if you've got a tech package that could range, this is not the time to pull out all the stops on all the tech. You know, this is not the time to do the long evening show that might work, you know, someplace else. So hopefully that creates some context as to why we've made that choice to try to have limited time for performance and relatively fast changeover.
I just want to circle back for a moment about the letters of recommendation, because we do have a couple more questions coming in about it. So perhaps some need for extra clarity here. One person asked if YouTube videos could serve as references. Another asked if if letters would do the trick. You know, is there a preferred format? Anything else that you want to say for clarity's purposes around these recommendations?
Can I invoke Christine Lockett for a second, our VP of programs and events, because she has a little bit more knowledge about the application itself online. So Christine, could you help a little bit there?
Yes, I would say even if you just email a friend or a colleague or some of the venue owners and have them just send you a quick paragraph as a recommendation, you can just copy and paste that into the application process and just designate and note, you know, who the reference was. You know, we're trying to keep this simple for you guys on that end, so you don't need to submit additional letters, or there is a place to include videos just so that we can see your work. So we would love for you to add the YouTube videos as well.
Thank you. Shauna did ask an interesting question early up in the chat. Can you give some examples of innovative sets? And I know lots of us here on the Shout team have, you know, attended festivals and other wonderful creative events in the US and abroad. Does anyone want to put forth innovative ideas that they've seen that gets people thinking, or just any thoughts about examples of innovative sets?
I mean, I will put out there, and it goes back to this idea that we may actually cross into genres and do various things. And so, you know, I mean, we've experimented a little bit with this at the Blumenthal, where we've done flamenco with Indian dancers, because Indian dancing actually, or flamenco, has its roots in dances that we think of as India. And so that kind of mashup of things that you don't necessarily think of, and yet when you see it, you think how brilliant. I would especially encourage you, you know, to do something. And that was, you know, a very simple idea. It was an Indian dancer and a flamenco guitarist, and it was brilliant. So think of, you know, how you can surprise people with something, you know, just unexpected.
Yeah, Blues will remember a Shout way back when, where we did spoken word and an opera singer performing an aria, and the two were presented together. It was a fabulous way to capture people's attention. So think of those kind of mashups, because those are wonderful. But also just think of how you can present your material in the best way. Take a minute and think that through. If this is not a, you know, this isn't a cocktail gig where you're just playing some music in the background, right? You want to be the showcase. You want to be the spotlight.
Yeah, I was going to say, to echo everybody, collaborative efforts. That's what it's really going to take to get something super innovative. And not just in your music community. Like, immediately the first person, if y'all don't know her, get to know Carolyn Kalushin, her company. They are amazing aerialists, and they use silks and stilts and all kind of weird stuff. Get in touch with your local magician. Like, if there's a magic act that you could throw into your show, get as funky and as crazy as you think you possibly can. Go big, then scale down. That's what I always say. Go big, then scale down. But yeah, that's, you know, in terms of innovative, yeah, just collaborative efforts are a way to start. And just think, like Tom said, think of the idea and then pitch it to us and let us figure out kind of where it can go. But if we don't know what it is, then we won't know. So your imagination can be as big as you want it. And yeah, I like I always say, just get funky with it, see what you can do.
Tommy asks if the stages will provide their own sound system. I know in the ICP, it does mention that all production and basic backline equipment will be supplied.
Right.
Does someone want to just chime in about that?
Yeah, we will. You don't have to worry about any of that. We will make sure that the production is ready for you to show up. And basic backline, right? We're talking about a kit, some amplifiers, and all good quality stuff. And I saw a question about percussion as well. Obviously, you're going to want to bring your own gear in, but we can, once we have a good sense of who is coming and what we're doing. This is not just going to be, okay, you're accepted, and then we're not going to talk to you again. We're going to delve into exactly what you need and make sure we've got everything figured out to try to make this as easy as possible. If you read through that, you'll see, without giving you every single detail, the goal is to make this a simple process for you, your bandmates, however you're going to do this performance, as easy as you can. That means being able to find you. You'll have parking. You'll have easy access to the stage location. We'll have hands on site to make sure that we can get your gear in quickly. Turnovers between sets will be done fairly rapidly, and so on. But we will have we'll have everything we need in place to make it easy for you.
Matt, can I add? It goes back to the idea, the creative ideas that are just a little bit different, and that is if there are opportunities to tie in with something else thematically that is happening in Shout that may not be a concert. And so here's a for instance, and it's particularly apropos given that this is Earth Day. One of the big art projects we have that we'll be announcing comes from the UK. It's called Gaia. It's this giant Earth. It's an inflatable, but they use NASA photography to create this brilliant Earth that is huge. It'll be in Founders Hall. We're hoping that that'll be a catalyst for all sorts of things, because it just beautifully reminds us of the beauty and fragility of the planet. So people working on ideas, we're encouraging them to think of speakers that could be brought in. But this space is actually intended to be an activity space. So it'll be in Founders Hall. And so if somebody wanted to do a concert, recognition of the Earth and musical tribute to the Earth or our stewardship, it's a space that could be used. Another project that Blues is one of the leads on that we have announced is called Of Earth and Sky, and there's a call out for poems for people to submit poems that reflect on all sorts of things, but particularly reflect on what they've been through the last year and their hopes and dreams for the future. We'll select poems and then create art installations that will have segments of those poems. So just know in that process, what we're trying to do is to encourage people to share what they've been through this last year, and particularly to share what their hopes and dreams are for the future. So I think there's a musical connection there too, that musically you can explore, what you or others have been through this last year and your vision for the future.
Thank you, Tom. Mandy, yes, I think it's safe to say that you can bring dancers and performers with the full band. I mean, if that's part of your vision for what you want to just, include that in your application. But I don't foresee any reason why that is not something you couldn't do.
We will bring the bunnies, Matt.
Say that again?
We will bring the bunnies.
Okay, you bring the bunnies.
We've got that covered. Yeah. Just want to throw that in there because we're going to have a handful to deal with. So,
Nathan, has already submitted his application, but he's had a lot of ideas since then. Is there a way for folks who have applied to update or revise their applications, or should they resubmit if it's significantly different from what they originally submitted?
I can take this one, Matt. Nathan, I'll put my email address in the chat, and we'll go in and just adjust your application so that you can continue to edit it. So that's not a problem. We're happy for you to add some additional ideas.
Tommy asked if the stages are going to be indoors and or outdoors. I think the answer is yes. But Robert, if you want to weigh in on that, will there be covering in case of rain or extreme weather conditions?
Well, this event really is primarily an outdoor event in a lot of ways, and even with the idea that we're going to be getting better in terms of the pandemic, we still are going to be very careful for safety, for people's safety. But yes, we're going to be multiple locations throughout the uptown area. Again, in the invitation, the footprint is defined there. Our primary location is Tryon Street. And I do want to point out that the timing of this is in case you ever really missed it. It is September 17th through October 3rd. And we are talking about programming the entire time frame there. So you've got 3 full weekends, you've got 2 work weeks. There's a lot of opportunity, but all the above. We're going to use indoor spaces where we can. We're going to use outdoor stages. We will cover them. We're going to make you as happy as we possibly can and as comfortable as we possibly can. I can't control the weather yet, but we're going to make this good for you, Tommy. It'll be better than first night out on the plaza at 20 degrees. I just tell you that
much. Fred is asking, can we talk more about the partial funding or full funding and how that works? Is there anything that, any additional information that anyone wants to share about that?
I mean, I can just tell you that the idea there is that we want to see your concept. We want to see what you're talking about trying to do. And then as we pull the budget together and look at how all of this fits into one big package, we will make determinations on what we can afford. There's no specific numbers that we're trying to, that we're suggesting or saying, okay, yes, we can pay this much money, X or this much money. So right now, just give us your best. If you want to put on a 3-day festival and you think that fits and you need some help there, let us know what you're talking about, and then we'll communicate with you. Which is really important to note that none of you are going to get lost into a black hole, right? We're gonna look at every single application. We will communicate with you on your ideas and what you're thinking about and how we can help you.
Will set and performance lengths vary? Yeah, I think the answer is yes, it could. Up to 40 minutes, as stated in the ICP. Eli has hey Eli, how you doing? This is a great question. Is there a way that folks who are interested in getting involved can get in contact with other performers applying to perform at Shout for possible collaboration? It's a great idea. It's a great thought. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, Robert, or anyone else. Blues, anyone?
What do you think, Blues? How would we do that?
While we're probably not in the interest of sharing other people's emails and whatnot, I think right now is a great time to sort of throw your email or your IG into the chat. But I would do a lot more digging through your own communities of folks that you might know. I mean, it will take some real intentionality right here is to figure out who's doing what where. While we don't have a database per se, we do know some folks, and if you ask us, maybe there's a suggestion we could make, like, hey, there's we see our scene is here, and Rick might have a couple of names for you. Jeremiah has already thrown his name into the ring that if you need some metal, you can team up with him. I see Poetic Lee is in here too, and then Nathan. There are some folks in here. Elle is in here. who are doing some amazing things already. So connect with these people, like even now or after you get off, but also get intentional with folks in communities that you haven't been visiting or participated in. Like, this is a real chance beyond Shout to really connect with music community folks. Like, Shout will be 17 days, and what we're hoping is that you'll use the next 2 or 3 years to connect with other communities and folks here to really build some collaborative efforts and make some really cool, funky stuff. So to answer your question, there's not a single place, but right here will be a place. Continuing forward, there are folks in this chat that you can reach out to. Matt and Tim know a ton of people who do some amazing things. Of course, Tom, Christine, and Robert and I are all people, and like I said, Rick as well with Fair Play. So reach out to all these people and then ask, like, you know, who should I reach out to if I'm looking for samba or reggae or salsa, or I need an accordion player. One of us will know someone who does that thing. I'm really interested, and this is just a personal thing, I'm sorry to take over, but I really want to see a mariachi man at some point during Shout. So if you all know someone who knows some folks who do that, tell them to apply, please. I will just sort of personally say yes to it already, but that's some of the things that when I'm saying we're thinking big and thinking really outside the box, that's where we want to go with it. But to answer your question, no, we don't, but please connect with the folks that are here, and then ask some of the folks who are leading this charge who you could reach out to, and I'm sure we can come up with a couple names for you.
You heard it here first, folks. A preemptive yes to the
Or
first
mariachi.
man that steps up for Shout. Arsina's asking a little bit more for a little more detail about the detailed budget portion of the application. Christine, I don't know if you want to weigh in a little bit on, you know, exactly what should be included in that.
Really, for us, it's us looking and reviewing to see that you know what you're wanting to put together, and you know, we kind of see that on paper. You know, you can do broad strokes as far as what those details are, but just an outline, a basic outline and a breakdown of, you know, what it would cost to be able to facilitate your idea. And if you have, you know, again, specific questions about the numbers and things like that, you please feel free to reach out to our group and we can help walk through it with you.
You know, I love this question about interactive events. Is an interactive event possible on stage? For example, Teresa would love to have an exhibit where she's facilitating people from the audience to make music, dance, and create together. Who would like to muse on that a little bit?
There's a look at page 8, Teresa. Page 8 of the invitation talks about immersive experiences and immersive art and hybrid work. There's a very specific application there. So that might be the place that you want to do. But in general, just throw out your ideas. We love that. I mean, that's exactly what we're talking about. How do we make this a special performance, not just the rote kind of things that we see on other festivals?
Is there a limit on number of performers? Probably not. I mean, you know, not a cast of thousands, I don't think, but you know, if your band has 8 pieces and y'all can set it up and break it down pretty quickly, I think no problem there, right?
Like, we agreed.
Yeah.
I know for a fact I've already seen one with 80 members, but you know, we'll figure that out.
Can I ask a quick question?
Please.
So like, there's been a lot of like really exciting talk about collaborations and immersive and creative and all that, but I also know there's some people that just want to play some music. So is there a place for that as well, for somebody that just wants a band or even a soloist that what they want to do is play some music, you know, a 35-40 minute set? Like, is that, I'm sort of speaking for some of those folks, is there a place for that as well, or is it sort of all the above?
Yes, Rick, absolutely. We don't get us wrong. We're suggesting ideas to make this fun and innovative and creative. If your performance is just playing music, then play your music, but just think about doing it in a little, again, for all of us musicians, there's a lot of different levels of how we've done our performances. This isn't in a corner someplace, right? You're on stage. Give it your best. This is your opportunity. If you're on a showcase stage, showcase, bring it. Bring the big cheese. So of course we want to hear music. That's what this is about. We want to be able to enjoy, have a beer on the street and a beer and a broad and listen to some great music. That's great.
Thanks. And what I would add quickly too is we've talked about adding a component where maybe the host asks you a few questions before or after, so the audience gets to know who you are and learns a little bit about you. Or maybe there's a opportunity for you to sit at a table for a few minutes so folks can come up and talk to you and maybe buy something from you, but really trying to really enhance that connection as well. So we aren't looking to go beyond just like showing up, playing music and leaving. This is a community festival, but so there's other ways we're thinking about creating that connection as well.
Can folks submit more than one project if they have multiple ideas? I think the answer is yes to that. Good question. Are they required to use the backline? Do they have to use the backline that's provided?
No. And Jeremiah, we understand the nature of what your band would bring. Again, we'll delve into that. That's stuff that we'll take individually and make sure that we can set up accordingly. So we're just trying to make it as easy as possible. So if easy for you is to bring in all your own gear, then we'll have to make sure that we schedule everything appropriately to make it work. That's the best answer I can give you.
Will wants to know if the performances will be recorded, and if so, is that just audio or audio and video?
Great question. Most likely, there's an opportunity to do obviously we can record audio very simply in today's world. Video will be hit or miss. I don't think we're going to have video at every single stage, but that's to be determined. How about if we leave it at that? We'll see where we are. We did a lot of recording for Shout in 2019. We shot quite a bit of performances and specifically on our ideas section. So we have full shows.
I love all the folks who are saying they're open to collaborations. So there's a treasure trove there in the chat for folks who want to explore that, meet some new creative charlatans. Any other questions that are burning for you all? And again, on May 13th, we will have another one of these info question answering sessions, 11 a.m. on May 13th, specific to music. We're also going to have a couple more in between those. On April 29th, we're going to focus on food and ideas. That's at 10 a.m. on April 29th. And then on May 6th at 6 o'clock, we'll be focusing on art.
Yeah, I would suggest that if you're looking for a way to collaborate with somebody else and you don't know anyone, those might be good opportunities to join the Zoom call and throw your info out there for those other folks that are art, food, and so on.
Matt, can I just reinforce how much we will appreciate your help in getting the word out for this and making people aware of the deadlines. This is a very open process, but there is a deadline, and it's one that we need to be strict about because we have to get all this organized. So, I think we all hate the prospect of people hearing about this afterwards and saying, if I had only known, I would have filled out something. But, the reality is this is a complex thing to organize. And so, we are going to gather everything we can by that deadline and then move on to figure all this out.
Absolutely. We'll be doing our part between now and then to make sure it's getting out to all of our readers and audience and constituents for sure. And we're going to keep encouraging others to do the same, including everyone on this call. Any need to bring your own generators for lights, etc.? I don't think so. I think we'll have you covered there. Anything else? Any other questions?
Yeah, I have one quick question. I see that my name is showing up as Shauna. My name is Khalif. So shout out to Reese for sending me the link to join. But quick question. So I know that there's going to be a lot of people that I know that may want to get involved but not perform, just try to help out or of some sort. Where should I send them? Is there a link, or should I send them to the website? Is there anything specific that I could send them to let them know, like, hey, this is how you could get involved or contribute to Shout this year?
Yes, there on the website, the Charlotte Shout website, there are opportunities to volunteer and do and just submit that you're interested in helping. So I just direct them to the website.
Okay, perfect. Appreciate it.
Here, I thought you were Shauna the whole. I feel so duped. No, good question. Eli's in Statesville, right on the edge of the 50-mile rule. I think he's in. Well, I don't know. Robert, Christine,
Yeah, just send in the application.
send in the application. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm right on the edge of the 50-mile, but I'm always in Charlotte, so I feel like I'm super, super active there as of now. So I didn't know if how strict it was. I'm very close, but
That's the point. If you live within that but work in Charlotte, if you're in Charlotte all the time, we just want to make sure that we're focusing on our folks here.
Nice. The real Shauna is here too. Yes. All the Shaunas in the house. Any other final questions? We're at about 44 minutes in, so probably start to wrap up. If there aren't any other big burning questions for folks, there are other ways to reach out and ask questions between now and the next information session. We'll be sharing that information in the biscuit as well, as everyone else will be. I think we may be there. Yes, someone else has got something.
Yes, I just have one final question. My name is Caleb Dickerson. I'm actually here more for the food side of things than I am for the music side of things. And you were saying that is going to take place on April 29th. We're going to have that meeting?
Yes, that on April 29th at 10 a.m. we're going to have one of these sessions that's more focused on food and ideas.
Okay, perfect. Great. Can't wait to be a part of it.
Great. We'll see you there.
Thanks.
All right, folks. Well, unless there's anything else, and I include Robert and Rick and Blues and Tom on this, if there's anything else that you all want to say before we log off, but I am super excited about all of this talent and interest. And again, please spread the word, encourage all of your fellow creative Charlotteans within that 50-mile radius. Eli's got the border. He's going to be protecting that the perimeter out there for us, but encourage them to apply. We want as many great ideas and amazing talent as possible.
I will just add one thing, Matt. There's questions about the recording of this particular session. This will go up on our Center City Partners Facebook site. It will also go up on our website. So if there's somebody that out there that couldn't make it, you end up talking to them, they go, man, I missed it. You can lead them to that location and they can get a link.
Awesome.
And also we've done 2 of these, one for artists, and we just did a general one. So those are all there as well. So we've answered a lot of questions already in the last 3 weeks.
Yep, absolutely. Watch those videos and share them with those who have questions who missed these. All right. Well, with that, I think we'll send you all off into your beautiful sunny days. So thanks for spending some time with us and for all of your interest in Shout. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be an amazing experience and festival this year, and in large part because of you and your talent and your ideas and your willingness to get involved. So thank you. And we'll see you at the next one.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.